Hello, this is I Know Geek Food, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Chances are good that you are either planning or have taken your beloved little ones to see the latest installment of the new Star Wars trilogy, The Last Jedi. And yes, let's face it, they will be coming out of the theaters wanting anything and everything Star Wars. Little pork plushes, remote control BB-8 robots, and the evil twin version, new this year. Cheap lightsabers from questionable origins. Yes, they will want it all. And while you are cruising the shops trying to fulfill the ever-growing list of toys for Santa, you will most likely come across this video game being demoed prominently in the center of the store. This is the latest Star Wars game from Electronic Arts, Battlefront 2, and it has everything going for it. Huge tie-in with the new movie, inclusion of the familiar characters as playable heroes and space battles. Really cool looking space battles. It would be hard to imagine any little Star Wars fan not to be enticed by this cool looking video game. Just look at it. I'm a grown-ass man and I am tempted.
Structural failure imminent. Finish them off.
Now you might have heard on the news that this game is encouraging gambling for children.
This game is a Star Wars themed online casino designed to lure kids into spending money. It's a trap.
The salesperson may rightfully point out that it is no longer the case. Perhaps you have some gaming geeks in your life, and anytime you bring up Battlefront 2, you get an impassioned speech about how EA is the evil empire. The crystals are coming back, and you shouldn't buy this game for the sake of defending the future of gaming against microtransactions.
Think of the children. Won't somebody please think of the children?
All the while, your little cherubs just want to fly the X-Wing and take down those TIE fighters like Poe. Is this game okay to purchase or not? Allow me a little bit of your time to lay out the controversy surrounding this game, and hopefully it will help you make the right decision. Before we start, I'd just like to say, as a gamer, I am one of those people who are waging a crusade against EA for their greedy practices that is ruining gaming. However, in this video, I'm just another parent who is more informed about the subject, trying to inform other parents on the issue. Parenting is hard, and I am not going to tell you what you should do for your loved ones. I will just lay out the issue before you and help you make your own choices for your family. I don't want you to buy the game, but absolutely no judgment if you do. So, here is what you need to know about Star Wars Battlefront 2. Firstly, it's designed around a pay-to-win economy. Battlefront 2 facilitates the purchase of crystals, which is the game's own internal currency with real-world money. The crystals allow players to unlock various aspects of the game, such as playable characters and upgrades for your character's abilities. By paying more to EA for these crystals, that is on top of the full retail price of the game, you in theory will get an edge over those who don't pay. You will have more heroes to choose from in-game, and your heroes will also be stronger as you would have loaded them up with various ability upgrades. This is what we call pay to win. As you can imagine, this really doesn't sit well with serious gamers, as we thumb our nose at anyone who wins an online game by using their credit cards instead of their lead gaming skills. So, okay, this is unfair, but publishers like EA always insist that microtransactions, such as the purchase of crystals in Battlefront 2, are entirely optional. These heroes and ability upgrades are all unlockable just by playing the game. The existence of the said microtransactions is meant to provide a way for those who are time poor to catch up to and compete with those with a lot more time on their hands. You know, those gamers. Which takes us to the second problem with Battlefront 2. It takes a long time to unlock anything. It would take roughly around 40 hours to unlock Darth Vader, another 40 to unlock Luke Skywalker. In fact, all up, it would take more than 4,500 hours of gameplay in order to unlock everything in-game. Now, I know you are looking for something to occupy your kids over the holidays. With this game, though, your child can play 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, and still not have unlock everything next Christmas. I realize that no one is expecting their little ones to be this devoted to a game, and they will probably get bored with it after a few few weeks. This still means that in order to unlock iconic characters such as Vader, Luke, and Rey, there are hundreds of hours of grind ahead of your child. This is part of the insidious nature of the pay-to-win economy. In order to nudge you towards paying for crystals, EA is making the game unbearably harsh when it comes to dishing out these character unlocks and upgrades. This is the same kind of tactic mobile games employ, where sometimes one of these free-to-play games will take 72 hours for your castle upgrade to complete. You can pay $25 to buy a crate of gold coins to hurry the process along. Now the difference here is the mobile game in question was free, and you should know nothing is truly free, and in-app purchases are the way the developers are able to take home a paycheck. Battlefront 2 is a full retail game which you pay a handsome sum upfront, and everything here that is locked behind hours of grind, in previous years they all would have been readily accessible from the beginning. Sure, some games would gradually release more features as you make progress as a player, better guns, more character abilities, but in traditional full retail games, this is seen as a reward, and the amount of time required from the player is usually relatively attainable. Without the distraction of microtransactions, game developers want you to have access to as much of the game as possible. After all, they spend the time making it. It's a waste if no one ever gets to see it. In Battlefront 2, the entire progression system is designed to bolster the purchase of crystals. The game is doing its best to punish you if you don't fork out more money. I don't want to get into the weeds with how insidious this kind of economy is. Perhaps another video I will talk about it. But it preys on all sorts of psychological weaknesses of the player, just so they will pull out their credit cards. The fear of missing out, for example, the sunk cost fallacy, repetitive conditioning. It runs the gamut of human behavior manipulation, and it goes beyond just a matter of trying your patience. I personally will not subject myself to that kind of open manipulation, let alone my children. So for me, we could just stop here, as I believe this kind of practice is not good for young minds. But then we must cover the third problem. This is the one getting the most spotlight, and it's the loot boxes. When you purchase crystals with real-world money, you don't get the heroes unlock and upgrades directly. Instead, you exchange crystals for loot boxes. Each loot box contains random items which will then help you get the heroes and upgrades you need. This is not an accurate summary on how Battlefront 2's economy works, as it is actually more convoluted than that. Going into details here is not entirely helpful. The important point is, instead of a straightforward "I want this for $5" transaction model, this entire pay-to-win system heavily features loot boxes as the delivery system for your quote-unquote rewards. Loot boxes rewards are randomized, so you do not know what you are going to get. If you didn't find what you want in your first loot box, you try the next one. This is where EA gets into big trouble with the lawmakers, because on the surface, this looks a lot like gambling. Now, this is where many of you will draw the line. This is gambling. I don't want my children to be exposed to this. Thank you, Gamer Geek. That's all I need. No more information needed. Thank you. And that's fair enough. However, some of you might be surprised to find that I actually don't think this is gambling. This is why I did not title my video, Battlefront 2 is gambling, do not buy it if you are a good parent. I feel that labeling loot boxes as gambling is a little overreaching. It gets the attention of parents like yourself, but it isn't technically correct. Again, I don't want to get bogged down with the technicalities. I just want to address the issue. Loot boxes, while being singled out as the problem of Battlefront 2, this is just another psychological tool in the arsenal of the entire pay-to-win system. Do I want my children to be exposed to it? No. But my decision was made back in point 2. This game is all about manipulating the players into paying for microtransactions. Loot boxes can disappear tomorrow, but this game will remain just as manipulative. Please understand, I do not wish to downplay the ill effect that this kind of random drop system can have on young minds, particularly those partial to addictive tendencies. Just don't short-circuit your decision on this point alone. So, with all that said, let's be fair to EA, and here is what they have done since they launched the game in November. They have removed the option to purchase crystals. for now. They also have tweaked the reward system in-game for unlocking heroes and upgrades, so the game as it is right now no longer had microtransactions, and the time required to get what you want in-game is less than what it was before. So, is it okay to buy this now? The answer is, it's risky. Very, very risky. Battlefront 2 is not doing very well. By all indication, it's sold very, very poorly. Their last hope right now to salvage this game is you. The last burst of sales they hope to bring in during the post-movie release Christmas shopping frenzy, with busy parents trying to put something under the tree that will make their little Star Wars fan brimming with Christmas cheer. This game, as it is, will do that. And you may be rest assured that even though the game will require quite a bit of time for the younglings to unlock their favorite characters, and yes, provided you can live with the fact that they will be opening loot boxes, as this still remains the way rewards are dished out in-game, and yes, if you can make peace with the overbearing progression system, there will be no microtransactions trying to eke out extra monies from your wallet. That is until EA brings the crystals back. Now, this is not just the cynical geek mind speaking here. The original announcement EA made about removing crystal from Battlefront 2 promised the eventual return of microtransactions. I agree with the opinions of many pundits that EA was pressured by Disney to remove crystals from the game and was waiting for the heat to die down and at the opportune time to bring the crystals back. There are no more opportune time than the post-movie Christmas rush. In fact, this is their last chance to do so if they are going to make any meaningful financial returns from microtransactions. So, odds are crystals will make a triumphal return just after Christmas. Having said that, the heat have not died down for EA in the months since Battlefront 2 launched, and they are one wrong move away from totally Titanic themselves with Battlefront 2. One wrong move could wipe out more of their stock value, for instance. Losing exclusive rights to the Star Wars franchise is a possibility, and the looming government intervention is a real threat. A rational publisher would not dare to pull such a dumb move with everyone watching so closely. But then again, if EA was rational, then they wouldn't be in this much of a mess in the first place. Since the botched launch of Battlefront 2, EA has released one more game. It is the latest installment of Ultimate Fighting Championship. And unbelievably, that game came with an even more egregious pay-to-win system. Yes, worse than Battlefront 2. Loot boxes and all. Will EA do the smart thing and keep the microtransaction disabled in Battlefront 2? I wouldn't bet on that. So the risk to take if you buy this game right now is that the dreaded crystals will make a return after Christmas, and you will face an uphill battle teaching your children the virtue of patience. Anyone playing the game a month after launch will have to play against players who has been there since launch, and have more powerful characters and more characters to choose from. Without the option to purchase crystals, tough biggies, you just have to grind it, kid. But when that purchase crystal button lights up like a Christmas tree, well, I will leave you to decide how that will play out in your own household. Is Battlefront 2 worth the risk? You have to decide for yourself. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you, and if you do find this video helpful, please give us a like, will ya? If you know other parents who would find this helpful, sharing is caring. I would normally ask you to subscribe, but this parent's guide will be a kind of a one-off for now. I had toned down the geek for this video, and I can't do that too often. It's terribly draining. However, if you have an interest in gaming, gadgets, and general geekery, hit that subscribe button, and that's what you'll get on the regular in the future. This is I Know Geek Fu. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one.